New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents On Purpose with Reverend Beth Linguri. Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Central European Time. Come find purpose, nurture growth, and live your passion. And now On Purpose with Reverend Beth Linguri.
Hello, everyone. So good to be back with you this week. I'm Beth Linguri, and this is On Purpose. It's a weekly broadcast, and it's devoted to supporting you, each one of you, on your journey to live life on purpose, your divine purpose. And this brings fulfillment and happiness. So thank you for being here. I honor each one for your commitment to join each week. And your presence is really appreciated. So together we are building a community. This community is a community of support for each other. As each one connects more deeply with your essence, with this divine that lives inside of you, then we share at that level. We share our essence, our goodness, our godness. And so right now, I simply invite you into this sanctuary of this moment and become still and listen to the wisdom of your heart. Connect with that inner voice that speaks so loudly in the stillness and allow this voice to be your guide. So simply relax and surrender into this moment and let go of any thinking or planning or judging or any other intellectual activities. Silence those doubts, the inner critic, the skeptic. Just let them be silent for a while. And be here with me in this moment now. So I invite you to speak this intention to yourself, and I intend to be in this moment with my whole self. And I simply let go of what came before, what's going to come next, and be here. I am here right now. So take a breath. Take a deep breath, the breath of life, that gift that one receives every moment of every day. And simply allow that breath to move in and through you. And as you release the breath, just naturally release all that has come before and all that is coming after this time together. And be here in this moment, ready, willing to know that purpose and to give your gift. Become aware of your body in the seat, your legs firmly on the ground, connecting with the earth, your spine erect and your head pointed towards the sky above. Now I invite you to let gratitude, that feeling of thankfulness for this life we have been given, this opportunity to serve. Just let that gratitude, that well up in you, and feel so grateful, so thankful, and feel happy and smile. Raise the corners of your mouth. This body is the temple of the divine. It is the only way that divine has to express is through this life. So there may be things that you have done, some minor transgressions that have caused you to feel shame and disappointment, or sorrow or regret. Release that now. Let that go. It's all an illusion anyway. And right now, there are only thoughts. These are only thoughts that you've accepted, and you can just let them go. I don't accept them. Release them. So take a deep breath and release and let go even more into this moment. Listen deeply. Become aware of the silence, the stillness, and invite that connection with your inner guide, that inner truth, and listen. And it speaks. I am whole and perfect in that divine place within. Everything I need to know is right there inside me. Nothing I have ever done or that has been done to me can change that truth. It is my truth. It is the truth of everyone. And so, relax, let go, and simply surrender to this perfect power which exists within each one. And now we listen to the words of Ernest Holmes in the book, This Thing Called You. We continue today on chapter 12. He writes, "Let us think about happiness. Everyone desires to be happy. Everyone strives towards happiness. Too few obtain it. If you must become mentally or emotionally intoxicated to be happy, then you become addicted to that. And your normal state is unhappiness, which you seek to change in those moments of intoxication. Happiness, true happiness, must come from a deeper wellspring of being. Permanent happiness comes from quiet contentment and this inner sense of certainty, and it cannot be shaken by outside conditions. It is this inner knowing, inner contentment, inner peace. The mind, that thinking mind that we carry around with us and is constantly distracted by what it sees and what's going on around it, it must come to a place where it no longer remembers the past with anxiety. It no longer looks to the future with uncertainty. And it is this which is true inner peace. And from this peace comes this permanent happiness. So he goes on to tell us that, we can reach this state of inner peace and happiness by means of repeating affirmations. And this is something that many teachers have shared with us. And you can do this through affirmations. It is true. Some of the affirmations Dr. Holmes suggests is something like this. I have a calm, inward conviction of my union with good, my oneness with God. Or something like, I have a deep realization that I am surrounded by an infinite law that receives the impression of my thought and acts creatively upon it. Or I'm conscious of my ability to use this law to direct it for specific purposes for myself and others. You see, he's talking about the law. We rest in the law. And the law is impersonal. It is the same for everyone. It doesn't say this one, the law works, and this one, it doesn't. So when we rest in the law, we release anything unlike it and allow it to be what is happening. And then the law directs it for the purpose it was created. And he invites us to remember that there is nothing in me, or nothing in you that can deny or limit or obstruct or divert or in any way hinder the use of this law. So if we invoke the law and invite the law to be there and surrender to its being and its unfolding, then all that is desired for our happiness, all that is needed for happiness, for perfection, for this inner peace, unfolds easily. He goes on to write, if you want to be happy and feel at home in the universe, it is certain that you must learn to love your fellow human beings. Everyone, not just those who are friends, not just those who do good, everyone. You strive to see God in everyone, as they are all representations of the same God in different forms. That's a big order, isn't it? We must love everyone. Reflect on that. Reflect on that. And see how that can work. Recently, I came across the work of Arthur C. Brooks. He's a scientist, a social scientist, and a professor at Harvard Business School and the Kennedy School of Government. Well, he's a businessman, and he's written several books. From Strength to Strength is his most recent book that he wrote alone, and it's a very powerful statement of these principles that I have just shared with you. But he brings them alive in current language, and he proves it through cutting-edge research in behavioral science and in neuroscience, which is currently going on at Harvard University and other universities in that area. And so I'd like to bring in some of his ideas into our reflections on happiness. He also wrote a book with Oprah Winfrey on how to create a life of happiness, or how to, I'm not sure exactly of the title, but something like that. So what he says is, in our minds, we sometimes confuse happiness with pleasure. And so we seek moments of pleasure, thinking that they'll bring us happiness. But it's not at all the truth. Those things which bring pleasure only last for a very short time. And when they're gone, that true happiness doesn't exist. It's not there. So it's very passing, momentary. But when you have a combination of enjoyment plus satisfaction plus meaning, then you come to this place of happiness. And so he asked the question, what brings happiness? And most people would say the following: wealth, money, power, pleasure, and fame. These are the goals of most people. And these are the goals because it is believed that they will bring happiness. But he talks about the arrival fallacy. The arrival fallacy. one thinks that once I get enough money or enough power or enough fame, all will be well. But in actual fact, just the opposite happens. The moment you hit your goal, what you call success, you experience a moment of joy, but it doesn't last. You cannot maintain that level of satisfaction. So you go searching for more money and more power and more pleasure to arrive at that moment of joy. And then you must go all over again. This is not sustainable. And so people choose other methods of intoxication, separation, other ways to prolong this sense of pleasure. In both of his books, he goes on to discuss the things that bring lasting happiness. And this is what he says. Faith, your family, your friendship with others, and serving other people. These bring lasting happiness. So this idea of enjoyment, of satisfaction and purpose, he calls them the macronutrients of happiness, the macronutrient components of happiness. So when you do something pleasurable with people you love, these become memories, and therein lies the joy. I encourage you to look into these books. They're both excellent. The other book that he wrote in Arthur C. Brooks and Oprah Winfrey is called How to Build the Life You Want. And I'm sure there are some wonderful tips in there. What he suggests from this book is that one of the biggest mistakes we make as human beings is this idea that our emotions define who we are at this moment. He says very clearly, you are not your emotions. You are not your emotions. Think more and feel less. Because you can change your emotions at any moment. You can feel very sad and very upset, and you can say, I don't choose to feel that way right now. I'm going to feel a different way. And you can actually, with your thinking, with your thoughts, change your emotion. So he says, disrupt this cycle of responding to your emotions, especially the emotion of anger. We respond so quickly. And so we feel so righteous. We have every right to be angry about this situation. And yet, it is simply a reaction to an emotion. So disrupt the cycle of emotions with love. And he suggests in order to do that we practice what he calls metacognition. Metacognition. And this is something that I have taught through the years and observe and do constantly, and I invite others to do it as well. And this is simply to become the observer. Become an observer of your thoughts and your feelings. Thinking about thinking and putting distance between your feelings and your reactions is a way to become the observer. So you step back and look, what am I feeling now? How did I get that way? What would I like to feel? So thinking about thinking, putting distance between your feelings and reactions. I'm going to decide my own reaction to this. I'm going to decide how I'll react when I'm angry, or how I'll react when I'm sad, and how long I will stay there. And substitute reactions of my choice not those by default, not those immediate reactions. Emotions, the feelings we have, are simply information, and you can separate yourself from them. You can put a space between your emotions and your reactions. And this brings inner peace. It brings inner peace, and inner peace brings happiness. Tara Brach, who is one of my favorite writers and speakers, uses this so often. Do not react. Reflect and then respond. The 3 R's. And this is a helpful reminder that we can take with us. Do not react. First reflect and then respond. So one last thought from Arthur C. Brooks and Oprah from their book. The suggestion of emotional caffeine. Emotional caffeine. If the emotion you feel is not the one you want, choose another one. When you are perked down, you can perk up. You can embody emotional caffeine. You can take on an emotion and allow that to perk you up. So think about emotions, emotional caffeine. If the emotion you feel is not the one you want, choose another one. When you are perked down, you can perk up simply by choosing an emotion. So as we remind ourselves each week, we know that each one is a divine being, this expression of the divine in human form. And we are here in this body to express divinity, to love and to serve. This is our purpose. And how you do this is an individual matter. It will not be the way anyone else does it. And I suggest that each one examine your life and reflect on your questions. Ask yourself your questions. Reflecting on what you are called to do. And then become the type of person that would do that. Reflect on what you are called to do. What is that inner voice, that hunch, that intuitive nudge suggesting? And when you see what it suggests you do, what type of person would do that? And then that can help you determine how you will carry out this purpose. So together today in our centering practice, the answer to what is my purpose is within each one and is so different. So I encourage this practice. I encourage this practice to expand. And as we engage together each week, take this into your everyday experience and practice each day to establish your identity as one living your divinity. And as you go through the day, at the end of the day, reflect before you close the day, before you go to sleep. Reflect and record. How did I express my divinity? What was my identity when I was doing that? When I felt this total bliss, this total time standstill. Record it in your journal. And you will see through the days that as you do this each day, your identity as a server, as a lover, as a divine being expressing divinity on this plane, how it unfolds for you uniquely. Your intellect senses this through your intuition. Your imagination feels it by divine right. And your inward consciousness knows it through faith and belief and trust. So as we bring our session to a close, let us focus together on our centering practice, this pathway to living your life inside out, living from the identity of your spiritual being, your God self. And today our practice will have a very specific purpose as we move towards this form of well-being, this true happiness. And so we create this intention to live more entirely from our inner knowing, listening to the still small voice. It is my intention to learn to love everyone with the same love that I feel for my immediate family. So think of someone you love, unabashedly, easily, a child or a grandchild or a partner, a parent, and rest in this feeling of love and allow this love to simply well up in you. Feeling this love. And now consult your intuition, moving into the sacred center of your being, into your heart space. And then allow others to move into your awareness. Those who may not be more difficult to love. You may feel betrayed by them or hurt or indifferent. Invite them into that space. See their faces and simply allow that affection that you have just felt for those you love easily. Allow this same love to surround this one who is not so easy to love. This does not mean that you love those close to you any less, but you love all humanity more. And engage your imagination. What would it be like if those few whom you love so much were multiplied so that finally everyone you meet should arouse in you in that same deep affection? Use your imagination to lose your small affection, and you will find it increased and multiplied 1,000,000 times through this greater union with your truth, with your nature, which is love. And I invite you today to continue this reflection as you leave this space together. If you have time, right away, record any of your insights that come up in the next few minutes or hour, half hour or hour. Record these in a journal. And as you engage in this centering practice daily, you will see that the focus spills over into the rest of your life. And as Joseph Campbell says, when you do this, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you, the life that you were born to live. Doors will open and you will be helped by hidden hands. And then you will be living your gift, aligning your life with passion and becoming truly alive. As the beautiful conversation last week with David Aldrich, he reminded us with his very inspirational story. Simply say, I'm willing. I am willing. Surrender your will to the divine will for your life. Not my will, but thy will be done. I am willing. I close today with a poem once more. Again, a poem from Mary Oliver. Still, what I want in my life is to be willing, to be dazzled, to cast aside the weight of facts, and maybe even float a little above this difficult world. I want to believe I am looking into the white fire of a great mystery. I want to believe that the imperfections are nothing, that the light is everything, that it is more than the sum of each flawed blossom rising and falling. I want to believe that the imperfections are nothing, that the light is everything, that it is more than the sum of each flawed blossom rising and falling. I want to believe, and I do. That's Mary Oliver from the House of Light. Namaste. Go in peace.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next Wednesday for more of On Purpose with Reverend Beth Linguri, only on New Thought Media Network. Learn more at www.ntmedia.org.